Hi guys, welcome back to Simple Blissful Living. This is Rami, and today I wanted to share a very special recipe. With Diwali right around the corner, I wanted to share a recipe that is very popular in Fiji. This is milk barfi. It's made with milk powder. In Fiji, we call it dudla barfi, and it is very popular during the Diwali festivals and all other festivals in Fiji, like in Eid and Holi. Um, and it's a very delicious melt in your mouth barfi, very easy to make. There are a little bit of difficulties with the syrup, but I'm going to share some tips with you guys, so hopefully you can master this. So for this recipe, you will need full fat or full cream milk powder. In Fiji, there is red cow or rewa. I'm using rewa. You're going to need some half and half or whipping cream, some ghee, some elaichi, and for the syrup, you're going to need some sugar and water. And for the topping, you're going to need some sprinkles, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, to get this started, we're gonna add the liquid milk, which is either cream or half and half, whichever you have available, to the milk powder, and then you're just gonna start working this through. You're gonna also add in the ghee here. I'm not using all the ghee. I'm only using about 1/8 of a cup or so. You don't want to add it all. You just kind of you want to get a feel of the milk mixture, and you're going to really get all of this distributed very evenly. So continue rubbing this in between your palms. What this is going to do is incorporate the liquid into the milk powder mixture, and it's also going to make your clumps, break them up. So in Fiji we call it farfar mix. So it'll make a farfar mix. It's not going to be clumpy. Even after you form a ball like this, which is what's going to happen eventually once you have enough liquid in there, once you rub it in between your fingers, it's going to break up and there won't be any clumps. You want to make sure there's no clumps. You're going to then add your lychee and mix it very thoroughly. I use my fingers like a whisk and mix it in. The last thing you want is a clump of cardamom, which I hate in Burfi. You want the cardamom very well distributed. We're now going to move on to the sugar syrup. So we're going to take a heavy bottom pan, and on high heat we're going to add the sugar and the water, and we're just going to swirl the pot a little bit or stir it and make sure that the sugar gets dissolved. You want to stir this occasionally to kind of help the sugar dissolve. And once you start seeing it boiling, you want to drop your heat to medium, and just keeping it on high, you don't have much control over the syrup. It takes me about 8 minutes on medium heat to get the syrup to the consistency that is right for the barfi. And the temperature of the syrup is, if you take a candy thermometer, is about 240 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's 115 degrees Celsius. You can also take the syrup, put it on a spoon and let it cool down a little bit, and then you put it in between your thumb and your finger on the tips, and then you pull it apart and it should create a thread. Once that's done, you turn off the heat and you quickly take the syrup and you add it to your milk mixture. You don't want to add all the syrup at once. I start off by adding about half of the syrup, and then I work it with the spatula into the milk mixture. What happened to me before is I ended up dumping the whole syrup in there and it just becomes too much syrup. Now for this particular recipe, this is perfect amount of syrup, but sometimes your milk might be a little off or something, you just can't gauge. Remember, you can always add in more syrup. There's no need to rush this. You don't want to work super slow, but then you don't need to hurry. You can take your time and work this and add a little bit of syrup at a time until you get to the consistency that the mixture starts feeling wet, not soggy but wet. So I ended up using all of the syrup, and then I went back and added the rest of the ghee because uh, the dough needed, or the mixture needed the ghee. So after the mixture is slightly cooled, because the syrup is quite hot, once you've mixed it in a little bit with the spatula and worked it in, you want to go in with your hands. This is the best tool for you to kind of get a feel for what the milk dough, I suppose you can call, has what it's like. It's not too wet. You don't want it super wet, and you don't want it dry. If there are any dry bits, you want to work it in. And then at this point, you're going to take this mix and you are going to place it in a prepared dish. So what I did, I'm just using a dish here that I've put foil and then lined with parchment paper. You can use ghee to grease it. You just want to be able to take it out easily. And with the parchment paper, you can just pull it out, as you'll see later. And it's very easy to come out. Now you're just going to push the milk mixture in. You just want to compact it in so it all clumps together. You can use the back of a cup, a measuring cup, or a little katori, or a pyali or pyala, whatever you have. I'm using a little cup here to kind of push this in and kind of get everything to glue together. The syrup and the big pieces, everything will just come together. And then I just go in with my hands and make sure I work the edges and make sure that everything is in there. Then you take the sprinkles. So in Fiji, traditionally you use hundreds and thousands, which are those little round ones, and I have some of those in here. You can use any sprinkles. I like to use a variety because it reminds me of fireworks. That's what Diwali is about, you know, fireworks and celebrations. So once you sprinkle your sprinkles on, you want to go ahead and push it in using either your hands. A cup works best because it doesn't stick to your fingers. So after letting this cool for about 10 minutes, you want to go ahead and start cutting your burfi. And a tip here is to dip your knife in warm or hot water and then cut it, and just kind of go in one motion. Try not to pick up your knife too many times. Once you have your burfi cut to your desired shape and size, you can go ahead and let it cool completely, and then just lift it out of your pan if you use parchment paper. And it's that easy. This barfi's texture is on point. It is not hard, and it's not too soft, not soggy at all. Definitely melts in your mouth. Very delicious and so simple to make once you get the syrup right. And hopefully with my tips here, you can get the syrup right and you can make this delicious barfi this Diwali season. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button. And if you are new to my channel, or if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until next time, happy Diwali you guys. I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye bye.